The city of N was calm, nothing foreshadowed trouble, the atmosphere seemed ordinary and safe. People were sunbathing and swimming in the pool located on the roof of one of the high-rise buildings. A young girl asked to take a beautiful photo of her standing closer to the edge with a good background. The guy told her not to worry because her brother is a real master and knows his business. She came closer and asked if he would always take pictures of her. He promised to stay close and take beautiful pictures. Suddenly, the guy was distracted, his gaze caught on something strange that appeared beyond the horizon. He couldn't understand why everything had suddenly changed, as if reality had begun to distort. At that moment, a multitude of notifications appeared in the sky warning of danger and instability of space. He wasn't sure if it was a hallucination, but he noticed others looking at the same red frames. The messages said that the zone had been transported to another dimension, and that the destroyers should prepare for the landing of monsters. The girl was perplexed as she tried to understand what the landing of monsters was and why it was happening now. The guy chuckled and suggested that maybe they had been training too hard and it was just a weird dream. After this, a huge green cloud appeared in the sky, slowly spreading and hanging menacingly. One of those present on the roof noticed something unusual and tried to attract the attention of the others with a gesture. Suddenly, right in front of this man, a monster appeared, surrounded by smoke and radiating obvious hostility. The creature landed hard on the roof, causing vibrations and raising dust and concrete chips around it. Naturally, everyone present began to scream loudly in fear, not knowing where to run. People were terrified to the point of horror, not understanding how to react to the unexpected and monstrous invasion. The monster suddenly rushed to attack, heading towards the crowd of people with frightening speed. In one instant, he killed 2 people at once without even giving them a chance to react. The guy immediately rushed away, and the girl screamed, begging him to wait for her. It was at this moment that the monster noticed the 2 of them and turned sharply towards them. The boy gripped the weapon tighter in his hands, feeling the tension spreading throughout his entire body. He turned, trying to assess the threat and shield the girl from the monster at the same time. He told the girl not to follow him because her presence attracts the attention of all the monsters. After these words, he hit the girl as if wanting to confuse her and gain time. As a result, she fell to the floor, not expecting such a sharp and rude act from him. Then she realized that the guy had simply abandoned her, leaving her alone in mortal danger. It was at that moment that the door behind her slammed shut, cutting off her escape route. The monster, as if sensing her fear, began to slowly approach, enjoying its impunity. It turned out to be a level 1 monster called a Korean troll, one of the most famous in their world. He immediately began the attack, not giving her time to even move or scream. At that moment, the girl was so scared that she couldn't do anything at all. However, the next moment she disappeared and the monster furiously struck the ground, missing. He didn't understand what had happened. His eyes were darting around and he looked downright confused. As it turned out, she was saved by someone unknown, and the monster was genuinely amazed by this turn of events. It turned out to be a level 1 guy named Shin Jingfeng who came from nowhere. The girl thought she was doomed, but he saved her, and then she asked if he was going to fight with this knife because even a spear can pin you to the wall. The guy didn't answer and calmly moved forward, showing neither fear nor doubt. After that, he threw his weapon at the monster, putting maximum force into the throw. He then launched an attack without wasting time, trying to immediately engage the enemy in combat. The guy threw several strange cards at the monster, each of which glowed in a special way. One of the cards at that moment stopped a spear that was flying towards them at a furious speed. The second card flew straight at the monster, leaving a trail of bright energy behind it. However, the monster easily caught the card without even blinking, as if teasing his opponents. After that, he started laughing loudly, as if to show how confident he was in his strength. The girl was shocked at how he deftly handled the card without getting hurt. She asked if the guy had any other tricks, if not, maybe he should just run away. At this moment, the monster suddenly became distracted, noticing something strange nearby. The card he was holding in his hand suddenly began to glow and emit an unknown power. At that moment, he began to be pulled inside, as if some force was trying to tear him out of reality. But suddenly, a strange creature burst out of the map itself and grabbed the monster by the face with force. It turned out to be a level 2 monster called a mirror troll spearman, summoned from the map. After a short battle, the mirror monster won and the hostile creature was completely destroyed. After the victory experience was received some copper coins, an awakening stone, a temporary troll trait, Blood Madness, which activates when health falls below 20%, increasing attack power to 100%. The girl was breathing heavily, her hands were shaking, and she repeated that she had somehow miraculously survived. She said she had lost her phone and asked if she could use it to call the police. The guy was surprised and said didn't she understand that they were in a dimension without communication, army and police, where instead of civilization there were monsters, strangers, and endless battles, and it was impossible to return home. The girl asked fearfully what they should do now because she was afraid did not have magic and the next meeting with the monster would definitely be her last. The guy showed her the object and said that with its help she would be able to awaken and gain powers. The girl looked more closely and asked what the strange stone was that was glowing in his palm. He replied that it was an awakening stone that would definitely drop after the first monster that person killed. The girl asked incredulously how to use this item and whether it really works. Jing Feng calmly explained that it simply needed to be swallowed, and then the awakening process would begin. She asked in surprise if it was really that simple since she didn't want to fight monsters at all. Then he said that if she is not ready, let her walk a kilometer to the shelter of the Dimension Destroyer. There you can exchange the stone for a valuable item because things from monsters are considered very useful. He told her that he had almost completely cleared the path to the shelter and advised her to hurry before the monsters returned to their place. The girl asked if he would go with her so that she would not be left alone on the way. Jing Feng calmly replied that he was not going to leave, he had unfinished personal business. He said that he had a score to settle with someone that he had to settle before the end. 3 days ago he was suddenly sucked into this dimension where everyone is forced to fight monsters. If the first enemy had not been a weak goblin, he would have definitely died that same day. Then he received his first awakening stone and immediately realized that he had to eat it. Naturally, Jing Feng swallowed the stone without hesitation in order to immediately gain access to the powers. He chuckled and said it tasted like chocolate, although that might just be an illusion. After awakening at level 1, he received a mirror card that creates physical mirror copies of warg skills and equipment lasting for 1 minute and half strength. A full copy. He didn't even have a class, but maybe later there will be a task for him to choose from because his abilities are unique. It was at this moment that Jing Feng noticed a new hostile monster appearing outside the door. It was the same monster he had seen before and fought with before. Jing Feng immediately threw a card at the monster, not wanting to waste a second of time. At that very moment, the door was knocked out with a deafening roar and the creature burst inside. It was a mirror troll spearman enhanced to a level of 150%. He flew into the wall with all his might, breaking through it with his body as if the concrete offered no resistance. The monster launched a swift attack, swinging its spear and giving no opportunity to dodge. At that moment, he launched an attack at his opponent, aiming right at the center of his chest. Suddenly, a black hole opened up and a powerful stream began to suck the monster into itself. The creature looked shocked, its face distorted with fear and intense surprise. The mirror troll spearman was destroyed. The hero received experience and some copper coins. As long as he can survive in this dimension, he will not stop and find the right person. On the way to the shelter, the girl did not meet a single monster and everything went surprisingly calmly. She was very nervous because he saved her, gave her important things, and she didn't even thank him. The girl promised with a slight smile that next time she would definitely thank him properly. It was at this moment that she was suddenly hit by a car that drove straight towards her. The impact threw the girl several meters away and she fell noisily onto the asphalt. She instantly lost consciousness, not even having time to understand what exactly happened to her. Despite this, she clearly felt that she did not want to die because she had just been saved. She mentally begged for help, but the man at that moment was reaching for the awakening stone. After that, the man, without saying a word, got into the car and started driving away. The girl had no other choice because she could not move and remained lying down. The man drove away, leaving her behind alone, showing no regret or desire to help. The feeling was incredible, as if the whole world belonged only to him and nothing interfered. The world was amazing. Even if you hit a person, no one will pursue you for it because it is Yao Liangxin. Around him were many rare and incredibly valuable items that could enrich anyone brave enough. He enjoyed every second because everything in this world felt more alive and exciting than before. Meanwhile, in the silent parking lot, something unusual and disturbing was happening. The girl stood near the car trying to figure out what exactly was going on around her and why it was so strange. She tried to call her mother, but the calls did not go through and the connection seemed to disappear without explanation. It was at this moment that a huge and terrifying-looking monster suddenly appeared behind her. Seeing this creature, she froze in place, numb, overcome with intense and panicky surprise. The monster slowly reached out to her, ready to strike the killing blow without hesitation. But at that very second, a shot rang out, someone did not allow the monster to attack with impunity. The stranger shouted, ordering the girl to jump to escape the impending danger. It turned out to be Luo Fei, a first-level person willing to risk himself for others. He opened fire on the monster without hesitation, hoping to delay it as long as possible. The monster was destroyed. Luo Fei gained some experience trophies and realized how dangerous everything was here. The boy ran up to him and said in a panic that he couldn't get through to his mother. Luo Fei promised to help, saying that the phones were not working, but he would do his best. However, they were suddenly attacked, not allowing them to finish the conversation and prepare for defense. He ordered the boy to quickly get into the car and hide from danger. The man managed to escape in time, using the situation and minimal cover. He explained that the monster would not be able to break through the concrete column, and the boy was not in any danger yet. Luo Fei then activated the skill House Curtain, which strengthened defense using energy. The grenade went off instantly, shrouding everything in thick smoke, hiding them from the monster's sight. The monster could not see anything in front of him and rushed around randomly in search of enemies. He strained, trying to see at least something through the thick smoke and chaos around him. At this moment, Luo Fei fired, hoping to hit the enemy with a sudden shot. However, the monster dodged, reacting instantly and firing back with precision. Luo Fei used X-ray vision, allowing him to see enemies through obstacles. He realized that the monster was not just strong but also capable of anticipating movements and counterattacking. By using the skill Silent Movement, he became almost invisible, reducing noise to a minimum. He used the bullet's trajectory capture, adjusting it to hit even the dodging monster. The shot hit the target as the monster froze, not expecting an attack from the darkness. The monster tried to dodge, moving strangely and sharply to the side. He jumped back, but it didn't save him from further traps. The next second, Luo Fei noticed something suspicious right under the enemy's feet. The monster stepped on a mine hidden in the shadows without even noticing it. There was a powerful explosion. The monster died, and Luo Fei received some experience and a regular bow. He breathed a sigh of relief, admitting that the fight had been tough and his energy was almost gone. He promised the child that they would find a safe place to recover before the next battles. But at that moment he saw a bright light. A car was rushing ahead at full speed. He realized that the car could hit the boy if he didn't stop it immediately. Without hesitation, he rushed towards the car and tried to stop it with his bare hands. He strained every ounce of his strength to protect the child standing right behind him. The car swerved at the last moment and crashed straight into a concrete wall. There was a dull thud, the body crumpled, and the car stopped moving. The driver of the car turned out to be Yao Liangxin, who was watching the events with a calm expression. He said contemptuously that let others play the hero, he would still get all the rewards. The man begged to leave the child alone, saying that he would take all the trophies without resistance. Yao just chuckled, claiming that he even enjoyed collecting the leftovers. Not wanting to listen any further, he shot and killed the man without a trace of regret. Then the man turned around and was surprised to see the boy suddenly take off and run. He saw that the boy, overcome with fear, quickly rushed away without looking back. The jokes were over because we were talking about an attempt on the life of an unawakened child, which seemed unthinkable. He wondered if there could be any real consequences for killing an ordinary, not yet awakened child. The vehicle control skill uses a moderate amount of energy and allows you to control nearby vehicles. It was then that he activated the skill, started the car nearby, and drove it straight towards the boy. At the sight of the car rushing towards him, the boy instantly became frightened, froze, and took a step back. The car did not reach its target, crashed into a wall, and stopped without touching the child even a step. Coming closer, the man demanded that the boy immediately show him what he was hiding on himself. After that, he calmly asked if the child was injured and if everything was okay with him. He began to doubt whether he had made a mistake because perhaps the awakened one was already standing before him. The boy was deeply frightened at that moment and could not even move or say a word. Suddenly, he noticed a huge, terrifying monster right in front of him, appearing as if out of nowhere. This monster belonged to the second level and was similar in strength to those the hero had already encountered. The man couldn't understand anything. What was happening seemed strange, frightening, and absolutely unreal to him. He was overcome with real panic. He was truly scared and even forgot about everything for a moment. For months before this incident, it all started with a simple conversation in a calm home environment. Someone asked Nika sis when she would be back home because dinner was almost ready. Her cousin Shinjuaning warned that she would be late at work and would return a little later. Jing Feng remembered that day especially clearly because it was his sister's birthday. Just then her moped suddenly flew into the air, as if something powerful had pushed it from below. Following this, her heels also lifted off the ground and flew high in different directions. The impact sent her body flying a great distance and landing with force on the asphalt in front of the road. She hit the road surface, causing her body to fly several meters to the side. After that, she remained lying in the middle of the road, showing no signs of movement or life. The car that hit her did not stop, but only slowed down a little and continued moving forward. The driver had no intention of stopping and did not even try to assess the condition of the victim after the collision. At that moment, the main character heard a loud blow and worriedly asked if something bad had happened to her. He was very worried about his sister, worrying that something serious might happen to her. 3 months later, an investigation found that Yao Liangshin was suffering from severe psychosis at the time of the accident. The man was not at all ashamed and did not even show a drop of remorse for what had happened. The protagonist was outraged that the man first hit his sister, then returned to run her over again, and ultimately got off with a certificate of mental illness. The accused father urged them to forget about this case as soon as possible because their family was at risk of losing a lot of money, although his sister had lost her entire life. This made Jing Feng furious, no longer able to contain the emotions raging within him. His rage became uncontrollable. At that moment, he shrank completely from overwhelming anger. Jing Feng gave the order demanding that the enemy be destroyed immediately without any mercy. According to him, now is the right time to reunite them with their deceased sister. It was at that moment that he drove the car straight at the monster without thinking about the consequences. However, the monster easily jumped over the transport, avoiding a direct collision and an instant blow. After this, he immediately began to attack the car using his claw's strength and speed. The monster was in the air as it prepared to deliver a powerful blow to the car from above. His spear flew towards the man at breakneck speed, aiming straight at his chest. Yao Liangshin used the new car, consuming more energy, and summoned nearby cars to take the fatal blow, and also used the teleportation skill between the driver's seats of different cars depending on the distance and energy. Jing Feng activated the mirror perspective, gradually expending energy to see what was happening through the reflections in the mirror. Blood appeared on the wall. He had hit his target, but the accuracy of the blow was questionable. Despite this, the protagonist did not understand where exactly the man disappeared to after this attack. Suddenly, a cough was heard from one of the cars. That's where the surviving man was hiding. He said he was in a car near the main entrance, hoping he would not be found. Jing Feng immediately rushed to search, determined to finish everything right now and without delay. At that very moment, another car suddenly came out from around the corner, heading straight for him. The girl ran as fast as she could, and the man said that he was now jealous and would come in time to cover for her. He used a mirror card, creating a copy of Varg with half his stats and 30% of his hero power. At that moment, the two cars moved towards each other, preparing for an inevitable collision. Naturally, a collision between the two cars occurred, causing a strong impact and damage to both vehicles. The man began to climb out of the car, trying to quickly leave the damaged interior in the danger zone. His energy was running out, and if he had recovered a little, he could have used teleportation to save himself. At that moment, the hero stepped on the man's hand, and he clenched his teeth, reporting severe pain. The protagonist asked if the man liked to run over people with a car and cause others suffering. The man realized that he needed to buy time to prepare for the next move in the confrontation. He stated that there was a powerful enemy in the dimension that would come for him if he was discovered. Jing Feng said that everything was now clear, and he was ready to act accordingly. At that moment, he jumped, feeling that the car began to move right under him. The man said that his father was driving in the Amber Tower, and this can be verified personally. However, by this time, the man was already dead, and all his abilities had passed to Jing Feng. The hero realized that he was ready to betray even his father just to survive in this cruel world. Jing Feng noted that in this harsh dimension, good people rarely live long and peacefully. The girl burst into tears, realizing the tragedy and hopelessness of the situation that had happened. Jing Feng apologized and promised to take the deceased skills so that they could help him in future battles. He told the girl that he would take her to a shelter, but she insisted on staying with him. The road he must take is too dangerous for her, so she can't follow him, and Luo Fei can't put her in danger again. At this time, a lively discussion of the situation was taking place among the people present at the stadium. One guy said he didn't agree and Jing Feng asked why the shelter shouldn't accept the weak. Zhao Jia, a third-level person, explained that there was no charity here and that something valuable had to be brought in return. The protagonist agreed to take on a mission to clear the area to prove his suitability. The guy decided to look around to find out what was left in the area after previous battles and missions. There is only one level 2 monster available now, and the hero realized that with his abilities he would die. The main thing was to take care of the child so that he would remain safe while the hero was away. He was thinking about the battle ahead with a second-tier elite opponent who posed a great threat. At this moment, the main character noticed something suspicious and focused on the details around him. He quickly hid behind a trash can, trying to remain unnoticed by the enemy. The protagonist activated enhanced vision to better see the environment and nearby enemies. At that moment, he saw several monsters who were preparing to attack or observing the area. One of the monsters stood at the top watching the area and waiting for the right moment. It was a second-level elite troll known as the Cursed Witcher, a very dangerous and powerful enemy. It was at this moment that the troll began to attack, forcing the hero to urgently react and defend himself. Shortly after the attack, a powerful explosion occurred which shocked everyone present at the scene. A second-level woman named Wang Tang reported that she had struck the monster directly in the face. Li Jia, also a second-level, asked why there were 3 of them fighting against this monster instead of just one. Ho Shi, a second-level man, noted that the smoke had cleared and the view had become better. At this point, the monster had already begun to curl up and lose its combat capability after the attack. The girl asked Elena if she saw that she had hit the target and that now they would have to share the experience. The curse of the mad frog transforms the target into a skillless enemy that viciously attacks its allies for 20 seconds. Everyone present saw the frog suddenly appear in front of them, causing fear and tension. She headed straight towards one of the guys, intending to attack him without warning. The frog then opened its mouth wide, preparing to deliver a fatal bite to its target. The guy in the suit was able to cut the frog in 2, preventing its attack at the last moment. He asked his comrade how he could kill an ally without noticing that the frog was preparing to jump. An ally who has lost value to the team must be eliminated without hesitation for the safety of the others. A thunder strike technique was used which consumes a lot of energy and gives the sword lightning properties for a powerful attack. However, at that moment he simply thrust his sword into the wall, failing to direct the blow at the enemy. To his right unexpectedly appeared the very monster he had been looking for and afraid to meet for so long. The guy admitted that he missed when trying to hit his opponent in this critical situation. The trash monster was at that moment preparing for a quick and powerful attack on the protagonist without warning. However, the guy reacted quickly, managing to dodge and avoid the enemy's fatal blow at the last moment. He asked if the magician really expected to hit him in close combat without realizing the danger. At that moment, the guy became enraged and decided to use all his strength against the monster. After a few seconds, he began to make painful sounds as if he was crying from pain and fatigue. Used the skill of painful fermentation, which deals heavy damage to the enemy every 5 seconds for 30. Suddenly, the guy just disappeared from view using stealth or teleportation skills in combat. He began to run away from the monster in a strange way, trying to save his strength and choose the best place to attack. This elite monster is really dangerous with insane damage power. It needs to kill a hero to recover. At this time, the monster continued to stand motionless, carefully watching what was happening around him. Then his attention was drawn to something unusual that suddenly appeared in front of him without warning. A frog suddenly appeared in front of the monster, causing alarm and suspicion among everyone present. At the same time, in a completely different place, their own events and battles between enemies were taking place. In the residential area, the main characters prepared for new challenges, carefully planning their next steps. The acquired skill of initial concealment allows the body to become almost invisible to enemies, gradually consuming energy. Jing Feng asked to choose one of the doors that leads to another dimension to complete the task. He decided that the first door on the left was the one to enter to begin a new adventure and pass the test. At that very moment, he began to walk through the door, completely immersed in a new world and tasks. After his passage, the door quickly closed, cutting off the way back and symbolizing the beginning of the tests. Someone grabbed the door handle and began to slowly open it with the intention of getting inside. The man's gaze was mad and filled with a thirst for power and destruction, threatening everyone around him. The class change quest required stealthily killing 10 monsters without being noticed or revealing your identity. At this moment, the hero was very surprised by the unusual circumstances and incredible events around him. He noticed a huge tree nearby that could serve as a shelter or an important landmark in the new world. After this, the hero moved forward, resolutely moving towards his goal and preparing for the upcoming battles. To the hero's surprise, there was nothing suspicious or dangerous happening behind the tree that would make him wary. The mirror body transformed into a troll gradually lost energy and became covered in snow, which gave away its position. At that moment, he placed his hand on the ground, feeling the energy of the world and preparing for unexpected actions. He then created snowballs and threw them at the master, trying to distract or hit the enemy. The monster rushed into the attack with fury, directing all its forces against the protagonist and his allies. The guy began counting to 3, preparing to deliver a swift and precise blow at the right moment. The monster never noticed his presence, which allowed the hero to prepare a surprise attack. He could not understand how it was possible that the enemy remained inattentive and vulnerable. At that very moment, the monster began to attack, and the protagonist quickly took the initiative. The protagonist made a swift attack, dealing a crushing blow to the enemy and causing him to fall. The monster fell to the ground, stunned and immobilized after a series of precise and powerful blows from the hero. The main character destroyed several dozen of these small monsters without experiencing any particular difficulties. It was not difficult for him to deal with these small enemies thanks to their small zone of aggression. In a fight with them, it was enough to simply sneak up and deliver a few precise blows to win. The hero finally received a normal weapon, which significantly increased his combat capabilities and chances of success. The second stage began, where it was necessary to kill the boss, the little Snow King, along with his minions. He realized that the boss was a little further away, and that was his main goal in the upcoming mission. The hero began to fight the monster and his minions nearby using all his skills and strength. He did it with ease, demonstrating a high level of skill and confidence in the fight. However, he felt that the strike was not as effective as he expected, which raised doubts. The applied piercing and bleeding effect reduced the enemy's armor by 30% and increased the target's aggression. At that moment, a huge magic ball appeared and hung over the battlefield, causing fear and admiration. This magic ball turned out to be an expansion shield, protecting the hero and his allies from enemy attacks. Jing Feng was pushed back sharply, which momentarily threw him off balance and confused him. At that critical moment, he felt a strong blow hit his body, depriving him of strength. The enemies dealt him a crushing blow, which severely damaged his health and slowed his movements. A fearsome monster appeared before Jing Feng's eyes, ready to deliver the next fatal blow. His health was at a critically low level, and without immediate treatment he could die. Despite his wounds, the hero headed towards his carriage, hoping to find salvation and recovery there. The monster released a powerful ice arrow that quickly pierced the air towards him. The arrow pierced the protagonist's defense, causing serious damage and increasing bleeding. The bleeding effect continued to weaken him, gradually reducing his damage absorption efficiency. When health dropped below 20%, the troll's ability was activated, Rage, with maximum damage. Jing Feng grabbed the monster's arm and abruptly tore it away, delivering a powerful counterattack to the enemy. After this, he successfully repelled the enemy's attack, preventing him from striking again. Then the hero himself delivered a powerful blow, continuing the offensive and not giving the monster a chance to catch his breath. The elite snow monster was destroyed, and the hero received a large amount of experience and rewards. The main character was at a critical level of health, risking death at any moment. He turned his head to the left, noticing something important that required immediate attention. The boss of the third level appeared before him, the Great Snow Eye, causing horror and fear. It was unclear how this powerful boss from the depths of the cave ended up in this place. At this time, the man was in the cave, watching what was happening and preparing for action. He secretly followed the hero with the intention of killing him and taking the valuable loot for himself. This man, named Luozhen, was diligently clearing the cave, leaving only one boss and almost losing his health. Guilt induction consumed mana and transferred the target's aggression to a third party, giving time for tactics. A bright glow appeared from the boss's eye, warning of a powerful, menacing skill. The protagonist instantly jumped back, trying to avoid the powerful blow and save his life. Then he began to fight, using all his skills and abilities to win. He deftly ran away from the monster, confidently avoiding its attacks and preparing a counterattack. The guy turned out to be quite agile and knowledgeable about the area, which allowed him to avoid danger. The man realized that the hero knew his position and was trying to get closer to his shelter. The protagonist activated the skill of the Eye of Insight to better see his opponent and predict his movements. The skill helped him pinpoint the man's location and head straight for him. He quickly headed towards the enemy, preparing to deliver a decisive blow in the near future. The man began to get nervous, realizing that the situation was becoming dangerous for him. At that moment, a powerful explosion occurred which shocked everyone and forced them to change their plans. The man jumped back, escaping the explosion and trying to conserve his remaining strength. He admitted that he had slightly underestimated his opponent and was now paying for his mistake. The hero's open attack is exactly what he was waiting for to trap the enemy. The man used mass guilt induction, trying to distract the monsters and direct them towards the illusion. All the snow monsters mistook the illusion for a real hero and switched to it. As a result, the monsters stopped attacking the real protagonist, giving him an advantage. The man expressed doubt that the hero would be able to cope with several monsters and the boss at the same time. The protagonist did not respond to his doubts and remained fully focused in battle. He knew that death was near, but he remained calm and even smiled at his enemy. Using the vanish skill, the hero literally dissolved into thin air and disappeared from the sight of his enemies. His enemies were confused, not understanding where he had disappeared to and how to fight him now. The man could not comprehend that the hero had really disappeared and looked around for him. All the monsters turned their attention to the man, considering him now the main target. The hero managed to set up the enemy and hit him with a spin, taking advantage of the moment of surprise. The enemies warned the man not to come too close for fear of a trap. To complete the class change task, the hero could not use all skills at once, so he hit one enemy at a time. The hero did not expect that a random mistake would lead to such a successful result in battle. The man found himself surrounded by monsters, facing imminent danger with no way to retreat. He was already missing several limbs, which seriously limited his combat capabilities and mobility. A huge boss towered directly above him, ready to deliver the decisive blow at any moment. The protagonist concentrated all his strength, looking straight into the eyes of the dangerous enemy. He did his best to withstand the powerful attack and maintain control of the situation. After this, the hero used the disappearance, trying to hide from the boss's attention and prepare a counterattack. The boss began to massively attack everything around, destroying everything in its path and sowing chaos. He directed a beam of energy towards anything that might interfere with his plans or protection. Suddenly, the boss stopped abruptly, as if something had caught his attention or changed his tactics. The class change quest was completed, the boss was defeated, and the hero received a large amount of experience and rewards. Among the equipment received was a powerful Eye of the Great Snow with unique properties. He also received Sosen's dagger, which enhanced the bloody bayonet and applied the vampirism effect with each hit. The illusion was saved in the system, recorded on a special card for further use. The main character has gained a significant amount of experience and reached a new level of character development. The map plugin allowed you to see detailed information about targets, including name level and resources, right on the screen. This reward combined danger and wisdom like a teacher's gift for further growth. The exit from the dimension was open, and the hero was preparing to leave the dangerous place. The protagonist left the dimension, returning to the familiar world with new experience and strength. He immediately noticed something unusual in the distance that required immediate study. He realized that in that direction there was a shelter to which he should head. In this place, inexplicable events took place that alarmed the hero and others present. The hero was able to break a crack in the protective barrier with one powerful blow, opening the way inside. A neutral merchant was spotted in the crowd who had been wandering around earlier, raising questions. His level remained unknown, and his anger and fury made him a dangerous and enraged dwarf. The guy asked Zhao Jia, can he determine the level of this merchant and how important it is? At that moment he found himself in the air preparing to deliver a slashing blow from above to his opponent. He used a powerful attack from above, hoping to inflict maximum damage on the enemy. At this decisive moment, something unexpected happened that changed the course of the battle. The guy was very surprised by what happened and could not believe it. Zhao Jia also felt surprised when he saw the unexpected turn of events. The enemy quickly restored his damaged arm, demonstrating amazing strength and regeneration. He then grabbed his fist and broke his opponent's sword into pieces, showing his power. After that, he swung, preparing to deliver the next fatal blow to the weak point. Suddenly, he attacked, surprising everyone with his speed and strength. The guy realized that he could knock Zhao down with one blow. Jia using electromagic dispersion. The merchant looked at him, carefully assessing the situation and the enemy's strength. He didn't even have time to finish half of the spell that could have changed the outcome of the battle. At this moment, the enemy quickly dealt with him, showing his superiority. He easily dealt with two opponents and asked the boss if the barrier would hold. Shen Yuan noted that even if the barrier failed, they had a military god willing to help. At that moment, he pulled out a powerful hammer and prepared for the next attack. He then began to furiously attack the protective barrier, trying to break through it. He aimed straight at the people behind the barrier to cause maximum damage. With a hammer, he easily cut off the head of one of the guys, demonstrating his strength and ruthlessness. Suddenly, he broke through the barrier that the shelter's defenders had been talking about for a long time. The guy jumped back, assessing the situation and preparing for the next move. The barrier turned out to be practically paper for the monsters, unable to withstand their powerful attacks. The merchant went inside the shelter without experiencing any particular difficulties on his way. Everyone understood that their fate was now under threat and they were facing imminent death. The merchant began to attack, wreaking havoc and destruction inside the shelter, leaving no chance for salvation. At this moment, an unknown person attacked the main character, launching a swift and unexpected attack. The attacker turned out to be Zhang Yi, a 5th-level elite who declared that no one would pass by him. Suddenly, something huge flew up above Zhang Yi, posing a dangerous threat to the fighter. However, he easily repelled the attack, demonstrating a high level of combat training. He dealt with the threat with the strength of his bare hands, showing exceptional strength and skill. At that moment, he noticed the merchant standing right in front of him, ready to fight. The monster immediately attacked Zhang Yi, trying to break through his defense. The girl asked if Ziyun or her sniper rifle could be of any help against the strong fighter. She replied that she could put a weak charm on the bullets, increasing the damage a little, which would help a little. The girl was surprised and asked if Zhang Yi was really as strong as the rumors said. Zhang Yi was one of the two main fighters who kept the shelter standing until now. The second fighter was training outside the camp at the time and had not yet returned, but Zhang Yi could handle it on his own. At this moment, the battle was going on below, where active fighting was taking place. Zhang Yi defended himself steadfastly, repelling numerous attacks from his opponents without giving up. The monster was small, but it had unexpectedly great strength, and it could destroy the barrier with further attack. He activated the explosive rage skill, which dealt additional fire damage and caused fear for 10 seconds. At that moment, he prepared to attack and swung, aiming the blow at the monster. His attack flew right on target, rapidly approaching the enemy. This was followed by a powerful explosion that engulfed the entire area around the battle. Zhang Yi stood motionless and carefully watched the progress of the battle. The explosion left behind a huge mark, indicating the destructive power of the blow. The enemy's aura disappeared, meaning the monster was dead or seriously injured. The girl turned to the girl, warning her to watch what was happening carefully. Eventually, they managed to defeat the monster and ensure safety around them. The merchant lay motionless at that moment, causing alarm among those present. It later became clear that the merchant was only recovering from the battle and was taking treatment to restore his strength. The man could not understand what exactly was happening around him and what these strange phenomena were. At that moment, everyone noticed a bright green glow that began to surround them from different sides. Suddenly, the monster jumped up and instantly attacked the man, causing him to become confused. The man did not understand why the monster was acting as if nothing had happened without any damage. The monster continued its attack, not giving the man a chance to retreat or defend himself. In response, the man fired a burst, trying to fight back and push the enemy back. Zhang Yi found herself in a difficult situation and everyone was wondering what to do next. At this moment, he used the whirlwind hammer skill to create a powerful attack on the surrounding enemies. A huge ring of energy appeared covering the space around, creating strong pressure on the opponents. As a result, the barrier that protected them began to crumble and gradually disintegrated completely. The monster stood right in front of the man, preparing for the next fight or attack. Then the monster looked up as if noticing something important or threatening. He took his hammer in his hands, preparing to deliver a powerful blow. The man ordered his comrades to continue the attack and not retreat. At that moment, something began to quickly approach the monster, causing tension in the battle. At that moment, the entire group simultaneously launched a powerful attack on the monster, trying to neutralize it. The girl warned that they were leaving quickly but would try to delay the enemy as long as possible. At that very moment, the monster suddenly appeared on top, preparing to strike at them. She shouted to the girl to run quickly to escape the impending danger. The girl turned back, looking at the approaching threat and worrying about her friends. At that moment, the monster launched a devastating attack that could destroy everything in its path. The girl closed her eyes, preparing to accept her inevitable easy death without resistance. She had completely resigned herself to the outcome and made no attempt to save herself. After some time, realizing that nothing was happening, she decided to open her eyes. The merchant suddenly froze in midair, as if paralyzed by an unknown force. It turned out that he had been cursed with telepathy, which deprived him of freedom of action. He began to be carried in different directions, as if his body was being controlled from the outside. He banged against the walls, trying to free himself from the magical control, but to no avail. Soon, black magic of transformation was cast on him, and he became a frog. At this moment, the merchant really turned into a defenseless amphibious creature. After the transformation, he was easily killed without being given the opportunity to defend himself. This action was performed by the main character, quickly dealing with the enemy. He was surprised by the dense supply of blood and the fact that he had almost half his strength left. Then the main character noticed that he began to recover and heal again. He realized that someone nearby was secretly helping him, restoring his health. The guy decided to deal with the one who was treating him and intended to stop this ally. At that moment, they fixed it and left, leaving the protagonist lost in thought. After that, he used the whirlwind hammer skill again for a powerful attack. The protagonist created a magic shield to protect himself from a counterattack. Then there was another powerful explosion filled with energy and destruction. He struggled to contain the force of the explosion and protect those around him. The thought flashed through his mind that the fate of all the people in the shelter depended on him.